Bodmas. Bodmas tells us how to do certain sums, what order that we need to follow. We can use bodmas and we can also use bidmas, and I will show you what both mean. The only difference obviously between the two is the O and the I. So in both of them, the B stands for brackets. So anything that's inside a bracket you do first. The D stands for divide. The M stands for multiply. The A stands for add, and the S stands for subtract. Now, the O, different people use a different word for this. I think of the O as of, as in power of. So, for instance, 10 to the power of 5, 3 to the power of 2. So you do that first before you would do your division and multiplying. The I, if you're familiar with bid maths, stands for indices, which means the same thing. So indices and power of are things like this: 2 to the power of 3, 5 to the power of 4, 6 to the power of 2, that sort of thing. So first of all, you do anything inside a bracket. Then you do anything with a power. Then, and this bit's important, you divide and multiply. They are equal. Dividing is not necessarily done before multiplying. You just, at that point, go left to right through the sum and do any dividing and multiplying in the order that they appear. Same thing then with adding and subtracting. They are equal to each other. So you go through the sum and do any addition and subtractions in the order that they appear, but not necessarily adding before you subtract. Okay, let's look at some examples. So in this one, we have two things. We have an addition and a multiplication. Now, the AM tells us that we multiply before we add. So the 5 stays as it is, and I do my 3 times 4, which is 12. And then that obviously gives me an answer of 17. Note that if you had added first, you would have done 8 times 4 is 32. It would have given you a completely different answer. And that's why bodmas is so important. Okay, this time we have brackets in our example. Now when you do have quite a few bits to your sum, it can be quite a good idea to maybe underline the bit that you're going to do first, to make it clear for the person marking your work, and also just to help yourself. So the B stands for brackets. We always do something inside a bracket first. Even though we normally multiply before we add, the brackets show us that the adding bit must be done before the timesing. So the 3 plus 7 gives us 10. Now we've got 5 times 10, take away 8. Now we multiply before we subtract. So I do my 5 times 10 to get 50, then I take my 8 away to get 42. Okay, in this one we have dividing and multiplying. Now what I said was that you don't necessarily do dividing before multiplying just because the D is first. The D is simply first because something has to be first, but dividing and multiplying are equal. So do those in the order that they appear. So 20 times 5 is 100, and then 100 divided by 4 is 25. Okay, in this example, we have a multiplication, and it comes before the division, so we'll do it first. 12 times 2 is 24. Take away 16 divided by 4. We now have a subtraction and a division. Do the division first, so 24 take away 16 divided by 4 is 4. 24 take away 4 gives us 20. Okay, quite a complicated one now. So you can see that we have brackets, we have a power, we have a division, we have an add and subtract. Now, do this like you would solve an equation. Every line you should just do one thing and one thing only. So the first thing is the brackets. So I've underlined my bracket. Everything else has stayed where it is. The 6 is still there. 3 squared minus divided by 2. Sorry, my division sign isn't very clear. The only thing that's changed is I've done the sum in the bracket. Next, have a look at what we've got. The O stands for power of, and here we have 3 to the power of 2. So 6 plus 9 minus 4 divided by 2. Now we have an addition, a subtraction, and a division. Do the division first. 6 plus 9 minus 2. And then with addition and subtraction, do them in the order they appear, left to right. 6 plus 9 is 15. Take away 2 gives me a final answer of 13. Okay, in this one, so it's just to emphasize this addition subtraction aspect. I don't add before I subtract unless the addition comes first. With addition and subtraction, it's so important that you just work through the sum left to right. So the first thing you do is the 20 take away 12, which is 8. And then you've got your plus 15. 8 plus 15 is 23. Now, if you did the addition first, you would be doing 20 take away 27, which would be giving you minus 7. You can see that's given you a completely different answer. That answer is not correct. The reason that answer is not correct is because the subtraction only belongs to the 12. The addition belongs to the 15. So it's only actually the 12 that's being taken away. The 15 should be being added. So that's why we go left to right. Okay, so we have a different aspect here just to compare to the previous one. This time, if we put brackets around the 12 plus 15, that would mean that we would do it first. So 20 take away 12 plus 15 is 27. So in that aspect, you would get minus 7. Whereas in this one, you do your 20 take away 12 first, plus your 15, which gives you 23. So just watch out for the difference between them. You would only do this addition first if you had the brackets around it. Without the brackets, you go left to right.